Good morning. Welcome to today's Monday Momentum Coaching. My name is Teresa with August Consulting Group. Today, this coaching session is for hiring managers and business owners. As we navigate this new employment market, we can sometimes feel a little overwhelmed when it comes to the hiring process, and so we tend to hold ourselves back. Well, there's a couple things though we want to consider when we're navigating this new employment market. The first one is how not hiring is going to affect our current team. If we're in a position where our employees are coming to us and are like, boss, we really enjoy working with you, but I have to tell you, we're at a stage now where we really do need to hire some extra hands. We need some help. We're always behind. You're finding that your employees are tired, or maybe they're coming to you like, boss, we can't keep this up. We've got to get some help. Don't overwork your team. It could be you're just at the stage, and congratulations, where you're at the stage where you've grown and you need an extra hand. That's fantastic. But don't let this employment market hold you back and then you overwork your team, because what's going to happen is you're going to overwork them to a point where they're like, we can't take this anymore, and they're going to leave, which means you have even a bigger gap than you had originally to fill. So if your employees are coming to you, and pay attention, right? Listen, try to be proactive. If you're really involved with your team, you probably know already that they're probably a little overworked and probably have a lot on their plates and could really use some extra hands. But if they're definitely coming to you and say, boss, we can't keep this up, listen, pay attention, because if you have a valuable employee that's been with you for a while, that they know their job, they're just doing a fantastic job at handling their responsibilities, and you rely on them, you don't want to lose them. They're going to be hard to replace, right? So do what you can to be like, employee, I hear you. I'm going to get right on this, and then do it. Get right on it. Start placing those ads. Start looking to fill that position so that you can get some relief to your team, so that you don't have, like I said, a larger gap than you had originally. You keep the employees that you do value year after year, but don't procrastinate, because what we see a lot are employers or hiring managers that will drag their feet, right? They procrastinate in hiring those extra hands that they know they need in place, because it's not fun to go through the hiring process. But when you procrastinate, you could lose your team, the team that you do have. And if it's people that you value, that would be a really sad thing to have happen, right? To have to not only just replace them, but you still have those extra hands you need to put into place. So then you've got 2 roles, 3 roles, more roles that you have to fill. And then you also lose those experienced, dedicated employees that you know you've learned to count on and that you value. So don't procrastinate. The other area that I want to discuss is the actual, hiring process itself. So when we're putting a job ad out there, we don't get the resumes that we used to get. We don't have employees beating down our door to join our team. Not like we used to, where we have to sift through hundreds of resumes. We're fortunate if we get 100 resumes really these days, right? And so when we do get those resumes, what I want to encourage you to be is open, right? I know you have somebody specific in mind. You have the qualifications that you need and the skill set that you need to make them function and be able to be a valuable member of your team. But let's face it, we also have expectations when it comes to the type of person we're hiring. We can almost picture them in our heads, right? But we have to learn to step away from that a little bit and to be open. When you get resumes arrive in your inbox or at your desk, read them, take the time. This is part of an investment in your business, is time, right? Well, read through the resumes. Sometimes their current position of a candidate may not be in your industry, but maybe later down in the resume, maybe on the second page, they had industry experience, right? But you missed it because you didn't keep reading. Or maybe they have the skill set that you're looking for, but it's not in that first page. Be willing to dig through a resume and give it a good read to really assess truly whether or not this is going to be a good candidate for you. A friend of mine shared an example with me that was kind of shocking and surprised me in this day and age of employers being maybe a little overly particular. And I don't mean in the skill set or qualifications. You need to be particular there because you have to have a certain skill set and qualifications to do the job you're looking to fill, right? But we're talking about having, again, that picture in our mind of what this person should look like, feel like, be like, right? For us to really connect with them and to be open. We've had a couple of examples that we've seen where an employer who was looking to hire found the perfect candidate with the exact qualifications that they were looking for, the skill set. They were already doing the job for another CEO, but they came in and they didn't like something that they were wearing. And it wasn't that it was inappropriate or unprofessional, it just wasn't their preference, so they dismissed that candidate. So employers, hiring managers, if you get to the interview stage, whether it's on screen or in person, and maybe you don't like the color tie they're wearing, as long as it's not bright, flashy, unprofessional, and inappropriate, then is it just your personal preference? You really need to stop and think about that. Don't discount a candidate based upon little things that are based on personal preference and don't really impact the job. If they impact the job that they're going to be doing, for instance, they were dressed inappropriately, that's a different matter. But if it's just a preference, try and see past that and be open and look at the skill set. Look at their history. Maybe they've got a lot of longevity. They just are looking to develop further in their career. Maybe they're just looking for higher pay. Who knows? But we want to be flexible and not get stuck in our own head. And if we don't see that person look and dress and feel and talk exactly the way we want them to, don't discount them if they can do the job. If they've got the qualifications and the skill set we need, don't be so quick to let them go. The other thing is don't procrastinate, because these days, if you wait to call a candidate, chances are somebody's going to snatch them up before you get to them. I've seen this happen over the last few months with candidates where they'll apply for a job and it'll take the employer a few weeks to get to them. And by then they've already been hired. Sorry, future employer, I've already been hired and took another position. And then that employer just missed out on a really fantastic candidate, somebody that they were interested in. It's like, oh man, really? Then they have that conversation. Well, if that doesn't work out, give me a call. Well, how often does that really happen though when you've just missed out on somebody? The other thing is I want to encourage you to do is to be flexible. If you've got a fantastic candidate that comes your way and they need a little extra pay or a little extra vacation time, or maybe they need benefits, it may be time for you to add benefits to your employee package. Or it may mean coughing up a little bit more money so you can get the candidate you want, because again, you don't have the pick of the litter anymore. Things have changed. If you've got great talent sitting in front of you, snatch them up. If they can do your job, the job you need them to do, and be a loyal candidate and a dedicated candidate for you, snatch them up. Don't wait, okay? All right, I hope this coaching session has been helpful. If you have any questions or need some more direction navigating this new employment market, of course, please feel free to reach out to me. I love the IMs and the emails that I receive. It always makes me excited to get them. But next week, I want to talk about leadership. Okay, there's 3 leadership styles that I really like to dive into, and we'll go into a little bit, and we can do it more one-on-one later. But the first leadership style is leading like a sledgehammer. The second is like an orchestra conductor, and the third is like a feather. And I'll go into detail what those mean in our next coaching session next Monday. But thank you again for stopping by. Keep that positive momentum going and have a great day. Bye-bye.